Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to go over Palantir's earnings. We're talking about SOFI, and then I mentioned earlier I would go over Lockheed Martin. Before we get into that really quick, a lot of people did talk to me about Tesla. They're saying, hey, is this a dip buy? What are you doing? I think I'm just going to wait till the 160 mark. I really kind of thought like the 180 was good, and it bounced out of there, but we made the lower high. The trend is still headed down. Not worried about the EMA. The overall trend is still down. Yeah, earnings got a little excited. Dead cat bounce. Still trending. Now, we held that zone, but again, I think I'm just going to check it out at the 160 mark. I do agree we're probably a little on the oversold side, so it wouldn't surprise me to see a leg up. But I have enough Tesla shares, and to answer everyone's question on this, I don't think anything exciting happens for Tesla until something, happens. Full self-driving, a taxi, the Roadster. Just kidding. Optimus. Optimus is growing at an insane rate, so maybe there's some good news there. But other than that, no, I don't think ramping the Cybertruck is going to do anything. We know Tesla sells cars. That's cool. We're kind of already there. We've plateaued on the car stuff. They're going to ramp it up. That's to be expected. That's just part of being the auto manufacturer, or in the auto manufacturer. You know what I'm saying. It's just part of being someone who makes cars. Jeez. Anyway, so I don't really like the hype for. I talked about Tesla. This was again last year, even the year prior. I said it's going to get boring. It's not going to be the usual hype. S&P inclusion doesn't really like that hype either. So even splitting the shares, we talked about diluting it and making it harder to move. I kind of think we're just there. So no real rush. Don't really care that it's oversold. As far as like any kind of long-term swing trade. Even then, it was good for a bounce there. I don't know. I would rather catch that knife right here. Let's talk about Palantir real quick. So, first of all, you guys, if you're new to me, then you guys got to understand there's a difference in me and Brad. He's like, oh, this is a head scratcher. I don't know why it's going up. For the longest time, like, even as he's saying, like, we kind of just shot up to that zone. We were just holding there for a little bit. He didn't get why it was going up. And honestly, I was just, all jokes aside, we were talking about it just being zone to zone. He's like, I don't know why. Everyone in the chat's like, it's just a buy level. Boom, boom. But anyway, we went right to the expected move. And we talked about this. Options were pricing in a pretty big move, that be it up or down. So we got the move up. So that was exciting. As far as... I sold, so some people in my group, they sold the 2150 calls on their shares. I actually didn't sell anything up until this morning. I sold some 22s, got 20 bucks out of them, that was it. I just couldn't pass that up. I didn't think we were going to just go, I thought maybe 20 tops, and I was actually pretty close. The 2150s were enough to scare me, though. I was like, nah, if we just get nuts, let me just not do that. As it stands right now, I bet the 20s will be cut in half, if not more, tomorrow. So I do think I'll probably just close those for a profit and probably end up selling some 2150s for the week. Hopefully we can get a little bit more. I would like to buy those to close in the morning, and if it does continue to push up, sell some 2150s. They'll be right at the money. At that point, I think we'll be a little overbought. We'll probably pull back. I'll come out smelling like a rose on Friday and just have sold calls and called it a day. Worst case scenario, it pushed up even higher. I roll one more week, and it does one of these spikes. Characteristically, this thing spikes a lot, so I'm not too worried about selling at the money and having to roll a single week. I just don't think we're going to go vertical, and then I got to, get in that mess. But as far as the earnings go, they basically came out and, long story short, said what we said last quarter, we still mean. Things are still good. We're rocking and rolling. I think did they miss on? No, they beat on everything, but not by much. Yeah, and they just confirmed everything's good. Ultimately, still following this trend line. As far as the growth account goes, I did not sell anything in the growth account, strictly because, and we talked about this, we need those shares for income. So yes, it's up. It's an awesome day for that. But we will start to sell calls. But I did not want to sell calls on shares anywhere kind of close to this trend line, because I was looking for this pop. And we had this conversation right before this pop happened, actually. So anyway, that remains there, and I'm going to let that settle, and then we'll start to sell calls on that. Speaking of the growth account, our play today was SOFI. We bought this at $7.47. Shout out to Boeing. Hopefully he's ours fly and maybe they don't land. That'd be cool. So we're up on this position. And like I told you guys in the post, typically I'm buying it in the morning, but I wanted to wait for the market to crash. Or sorry, shouldn't say that. Just finish dumping. I'd even swung SPY puts. They were 493s. And right as I closed those, I bought this at 747. We almost nailed the absolute bottom. We were 2 pennies off. So we're barely up there. Now that doesn't actually matter because we're going to buy more whether it's up or down. Again, with the growth account, we put in the $150, so we just bought 20 shares worth. It put it right there, just shy of 150. So not a lot of excess money. So that being said, I still do not like the fact that earnings came out like this and it gave it all back. That is not the most bullish sign. So that being said, hopefully we're putting in a higher low overall on this trend. If not, we'll be buying some more probably around that 630 level. I think if we break the 730, I think we're coming on down to 630. I can't say indefinitely or for sure, but you know, having a stadium can only get you so far. Let's see how that stadium stands up in a tornado. You know, just kidding. That would suck if I said that and all of a sudden a tornado hits. Weather's getting weird. Missouri had an earthquake the other day. Isn't that crazy? People could feel it. Last but not least, Lockheed Martin. Or is this... I don't know why I don't... I mean, I know why I don't trade this, but... I don't know why I don't own any. This is not... I've traded this a couple times. Overall, this would be a great dividend ticker. It's a defensive one. Typically, this gets a bunch of hype when we start talking about war. You know, America loves war. So we can't do it. Then we flood to defensive stuff, military stuff. Maybe defensive is probably not the word. Anyway, right now is in a zone. So if I'm going to buy this for a dividend, yes, I would like it here. As a trade, I'd have to go long the zone. My stop would be 415.45. So if I was taking a trade, it would look like this. I would go long right here. My stop would be below these red wicks right here. I like the 45-cent mark, so we'll be, you know, 10, 11 cents off of that. I'd have to put my take profit here, but as it bounces, I'll put my stop in the green. Hopefully we can manage it all up to here, maybe trail it, and then continue so on and so forth. We can draw this however high we want, but you're just lying to yourself. Typically, I put it at the next zone, because why would I just assume we're going to waltz right through there? And then I had to try to avoid getting tagged out while trailing it. You know, maybe we pop above and it comes right back down, tags me out. I'm going to try to avoid any chop like that. Hopefully you catch a whole move like this. But that's what my trade would look like. As far as if I'm buying it as a dividend. Now, typically when I talk about dividend stocks, I rate it on 10. You know, like if I'm going to buy 10 shares, and as they're trending up, usually at the upper levels, I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy 2 here, drops 1 more, and I'm typically on the weekly zone, drops another zone, I'm going to buy 3, and then there's that bottom zone where the last 5 get dumped in, where you really do chunk in. And I think right here we're already at the 3 level. If we were already pushing it above, I'd grab a couple shares. Here's the 3. If it got down here, 5 shares. And that's kind of where I'd be going. $400 ticker, and it pays just shy of 1% quarterly. So on par. I do believe this is an aristocrat. Don't quote me on that, but I don't see a lot of... Let's see. No, I don't see any missed... No one's missing the D here at Lockheed Martin. But just my little piece on this. YouTubers love to talk about dividend stocks and residual income. Like it's like the greatest thing in the world. Careful going down that route. And I say this all the time. Anytime we talk about dividend stocks, a good dividend stock pays 4%. That's it. Growth will probably always beat it. But if you see these other ones that are like, we pay 10%, 12%, 20%, like it's like, we might, maybe. Be careful chasing that fantasy. If you're after growth, if you're after money, there's better ways to do it, not some dividend that may or may not pay. But this looks like a fantastic dividend ticker. Not just from technical analysis. Technically, yes, but also I do know a little bit more about this company. I wouldn't just be saying, yeah, it looks great for a dividend ticker just off of that. But I do like my money to go from the lower left to the upper right. It's a good chart to have. But anyway, that's your quickly wrap up. So we got Palantir in the growth account. The 2 stocks we have right now, Palantir and 2 cents off the bottom today, SOFI. We will collect 100 shares of that. And then I kind of want to have 200 shares of Palantir, but we might start buying it once we get to the 100 of each. So if you're in the growth count, by the way, I want the income from selling options on 2 tickers, and then we'll start doing things for growth. Like specifically, I'm going to buy this low. We're going to try to trail it and get the high there. But for now, with the account being the size it is, you have to trade it that way. So that's why I'm not taking anything aggressive. If you have a small account, you need to leave your ego at the door. Trade like you have a small account and grow it. Or you're going to be shooting from the hip. You're trying a bunch of gambling, and you'll just be pulling that lever over and over again. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys tomorrow live. Have a good one.